on the computer, I just put all the attendance right away so
Okay.
that I don't forget.
Okay.
And because I don't want them to miss any of them. You know, if they're here and I missed it, then it not be fair for them.
Well, I have my paper notes that has my attendance, and then there's also the recording. So if we ever get confused, we can go back and look at the recording and make sure
But
that.
if anybody is sending you the writings, write up paragraphs or anything to you, then you can just put it there. That's it. Because I didn't receive anything from anybody.
Yeah, so far, Leslie, you're the only one who's given me anything. So
yeah.
Awesome.
And I think I still owe you one. Like I missed last week, right?
Last week. So you can
last week was your flex week. So if you can make it up, then if you missed it some other attendance, then we can just put it there. So you'll have all of them.
Okay.
But I'm confused about the Zoom chats for the flex weeks. Are those makeup Zoom chats or are those required?
Well, it is of course required, but what I'm saying is sometimes in the summertime, your schedule is a little different, right? Some people, because we don't have everybody on this summertime Zoom chat, we didn't have everybody there. There was always somebody was missing, right? Mercedes?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yes. So that means if you were missing one of them, the flex week attendance, I can put it there. That's what I'm going to check with Terry, that if I am allowed to do that.
See, because that's what I don't understand, because Leslie should have gotten credit for that week that she missed. She shouldn't have to come to class. Do you know what I'm saying? Because she already... That's why I don't understand why we continue.
And another thing is that for flex week, there is no attendance grade place there that I can put it. That's the thing. I'm having difficulty. That's my question is.
Okay.
If you check the flex week, you will see that there is no place for us to put the grade for attendance.
Okay.
So but I'm still keeping record because these people are coming and we are having a nice discussion. So
sure.
I need to put it in. That's what I'm going to check with Terry. Where should I put their attendance grade?
Okay. Yeah.
Or it will
I'm
be
about that too.
Yeah. So if you check it grading, you will see.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think that we had class, because
good for you.
Everybody, yeah, well, it is good for me, but also because the idea I thought was that everybody would just make up the week that they missed.
Right. So summarize the video.
This is the time actually we always flex week is actually the makeup week. All the work that they missed, they need to make it up. That's what they did. Last year also, that's what they did. And we had only 1 or 2 makeup week. Other than that was at the end. But
what Terry told us at the beginning of the module is that everybody would still be responsible for the work of that week. So that's and that they would do that by the week that they missed. So I guess none of the summer has made a lot of sense to me, even though I've had like 2 conversations with Terry, and so I don't know. I must be really slow because I don't understand how that makes any sense. But I was told that we are meeting for the next 3 weeks. So there's just no.
Yes, I know.
Or there's no.
That's what I knew it. The last week when you said that, I didn't understand. Because flex week is for just for them to any work that they didn't get a chance to do it because of their other assignments, they can finish it. That's why they have flex week. And also in summertime, they have their practicum, and they have for practicum, they cannot attend the Zoom chat, all those things. So that's why we have the flex weeks.
Okay, well, regardless, we're meeting for the next 3 weeks, and there's no like prescribed curriculum or topics, so it's going to be just like I won't make recordings of the of the meetings, and they'll just be, either question or answer. Or the other idea that I had was that I do have all those videos that I told you about. Like I have the whole Aid to Life series, so it's 4 different videos. They're about, they're about like 10 minutes a piece that you would have. I don't know that you would get that much out of it unless you actually like videoed in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so that you could see my screen, because I'll share my screen with you. So I don't know if it would be helpful for anyone who, and I don't think that I can make
go to the water
of it, because I think that it violates copyright.
Right.
So that's kind of so if you think that you can like computer in next week or be able to look at my screen, then I think that it would be cool to. And I have like a bunch of NAMTA videos. I have a bunch of RAI videos, some really good Magda Gerber stuff that I know not a lot of people have. So if you can all, that's what I would like to do. I think it would be cool to watch the videos and then talk about them.
Or if you guys have any questions that you can,
that too.
Just jot them down and bring it up so that we can discuss those things.
I love the idea of the videos, Mercedes. I know several people have limitations with their without using a computer to call in, but I would love to watch the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, maybe we can compromise and do, either not do the whole class videos, and so that people can at least, call in half of it or whatever, or, and I do think that it's valuable to have the opportunity to just ask your questions too. Like, I know it's the beginning of the year. And so you might have a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, well, if you can use your computer to get in next week, why don't you do that? And if you can't, then maybe call in like halfway through, or still call in. You can at least hear it, but I just don't think it's as satisfying as watching it. Yeah.
Great.
All right. So the topic this week is the attachment stuff, right?
Right.
Emotional and attachment theories. Yeah. So we could talk about that, or we could talk about, if I know Wendy's setting up her classroom. Shelby, you're setting up your classroom. Did you finish?
We started this week.
Yeah. Okay, you're back. And then Leslie, did you start your new job yet?
On Monday.
Monday.
Next Monday. Yeah.
All right. And Anne has been working all summer, getting ready to finish up her practicum. Eugenia, yeah. So how's that going?
Crazy but good, because we're trying to kind of wrap up. So our summer program is pretty much identical, but we will have new students enrolling for fall. So we're trying to kind of get some other materials out that might be suited to those who have never been in the environment, and still, meeting the needs of everyone that's there. And so it's interesting.
Cool. And then, so do you do like rolling admission? So as the children age out of the toddler community, they'll move into the preschool, and then you'll get the new students in their place then?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, those who have already turned 3 will go to Children's House. And then usually over winter break, we'll do another transition.
Okay.
We try not to transition in March if we can help it, but if we have a student that we really feel that that would be the best thing for them, or if the parents think that would be the best thing for them, and so all of our brand new fall students will do a phase in next week. So Monday it's only 2 students at a time for half an hour. Tuesday it's 3 students at a time for 45 minutes, and then Wednesday it's like 4 or 5 students at a time, for 2 hours. So they will have met all of their peers, and obviously all of our staff by their first full day of school. And so that's only for new students. So our already enrolled students get those 3 days off, or they can go to one of our, like, the equivalent of our before/after school program on those 3 days.
That's so interesting.
So, yeah,
I've never heard of that kind of a phase-in. That's it's how does it work for you guys?
So it's helpful. And again, because it's only new kids, it's interesting. And it's very exploratory. Like, they just want to see everything, which is fine. And it does give us some time to kind of meet just with them. Because in the past, when we used to just kind of be like, okay, it's everybody's first day, but it's going to be an abbreviated day. We had a lot of like currently enrolled students who might want to like, I don't want to use the word scold because that sounds harsh, but be like, oh no, we don't do that way. Or like, oh, like it didn't give the new kids as much freedom to explore when when our existing students were there with them.
Interesting.
So yeah, it works.
Cool.
It's yeah. And then next week, the following week, because we have Labor Day off, so they have 3 phase-in days. Then like our whole school is back to school Thursday, Friday. The following week we have Labor Day. So like that next week's short too. So for all of the students and for our staff members, it really helps us ease into the year.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that that's cool. That's awesome. And you're feeling good about it. And then
yeah, it's a little like we're in crunch time of like getting everybody's like contact forms and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I'm like ready for it, or at least I will be by Monday.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that by the time you get to October, it's probably everybody's totally settled in, and
yeah, pretty much. I mean, we still have those who are, might be having rough transitions or whatever, but that's usually calmed down by that time.
Okay. Cool. Well, emotional, like, attachment theory is probably kind of a timely topic then.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, Wendy, it's kind of similar for you too, right? With your bringing in your new kids, and you do something similar to Anne, yeah?
Yeah, Thursday we'll have our 3 new kids come for just an hour. And then on Friday, all the returning students come for their regular day, I think. Yeah. And and then Monday starts the returning kids. It's like, just regular stuff. But then the new kids start, an hour and a half, and then 2 hours, and then 2.5, and then they're phased in.
Cool.
So we don't have the whole morning with all the new kids and the old kids. That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, it seems like there would be probably a lot of crying in the beginning for both you and Anne. I would think. I don't know.
Last year there was a lot of crying because some of the kids had never been away from mom or dad before, never been in a daycare, anything like that. Right. So for them it was really, really traumatic. And I didn't know what I was doing, and my assistant didn't know what she was doing, and the kids didn't know what they were doing. So there were tears all around. But we got through it, and we kind of muddled our way through that year. And I expect this year will be better because we'll have, 4 or 5 of the kids are returning.
Okay.
From last year, so that'll help.
Yeah,
a lot,
that's more
I
than
think.
that's
And I know a little bit more, and so does my son.
yeah. Well, I'm really happy that you guys have been together for so long. And that she'll come back for another year. And that's true with you.
Mhm.
Is that true of you too, Anne? Do you have the same assistant this year?
Yeah, so the same assistant teacher. Yep, we had a couple staffing changes in the building, but none in Toddler's House or Children's House. So like even our buddy classroom, so our students who will move up, they've already worked with all of those Children's House staff too, in some reasonable capacity. So yeah, really a good bit of consistency on toddlers and Children's House, which I think makes everybody's transition a little easier.
Yeah. Good. That's awesome. So, Leslie, did you start your new job yet? Did you hear me? Did you start your new job?
I'm on mute. I start on Monday.
Okay.
And so I've just been getting ready, and I actually was considering including attachment in my first newsletter to parents. I'm talking about separation and sort of the philosophy that we have on that, and how we've made accommodations in the classroom to support separation and reunion, or plan to. So, yeah.
No, that's a great idea. I don't know. I think that I think I don't know, you tell, like, it seems to me like parents kind of accept that their kids are going to cry. And then every once in a while you have a parent that's really worried, and they think that it means that something's wrong and that there's something wrong with the school, or so what could we use from the material this week to like kind of support, like telling parents like, no, actually this is pretty normal, and not only that, we would worry about a child if we didn't see any signs of distress.
Right. Right, and that it's a natural process, and the whole idea of moving from this oneness to creating their own identity and individualization, and that it is a stressful time. Like, and it's okay to for the parent to feel that stress, and for the child to feel that stress. And there's some things that we can do to help reduce that stress, and responsive caretaking is one way that we can try to offer some sensitivity to sort of those cues that we're seeing, and give consistency and routines to help that child transition. We had a lot of issues with, I was in a toddler classroom last year, and there was a particular parent that seemed to have her own anxiety about separation more than the child. She was interpreting it as if it was coming from the child, but it was clearly her own anxiety, because the child was fine. As soon as she left, the child's fine. And this, how children can sort of act out once they pick up on parents having an emotion or emotional reaction, then they're sort of responding to that. And but she ended up sort of staying in the classroom during drop off and wandering around, and it was very disruptive. And the lead teacher, tried several different approaches, very indirect approaches, to encourage her to drop her daughter off at the door and not come in. And I think that's another advantage. I don't know that that was really mentioned, but to have a designated area where parents sort of drop off and then reunite, so that parents know that that's sort of the area that is for that purpose, and that the rest of the room really that's not really an option for them to sort of follow the child around in the classroom. Like, that's their house, that's their sort of territory.
Yep.
And so I like the idea of having some delineation of an area where drop off happens. And it's fine if parents need to stay the whole time for a few days, but it's really important that they stay in that area, so it's not disrupting the rest of the class.
You sit right here.
Leslie, mostly the separation anxiety is in the parents, not with the children.
Yeah.
Parents are the anxious one. That's what they transfer it to the children.
Right.
And a couple of things that I used to do, because I used to take children from 6 weeks, the very little children, and one was that home visit, so that you can make a bonding relationship with the parents first. Once the parent is very trustworthy, that they can trust you, that you can build that relationship, trusting relationship, that they can be secured, and otherwise they feel very insecure and guilty also inside, that
Yeah.
they're leaving their children to a stranger who they don't know. One thing you can do, you can have, like, I don't know whether you have any meetings with the parents and the children before they come to the classroom. I used to do that. Teachers will go to the home and they will visit the parents and talk to them, and the child will see you. So when they come in the classroom, they know you already. They know your face. They
Right.
may not have a building relationship already bonded, but they will know you beforehand, so that they're not coming to a stranger. And same with the parents, will feel more comfortable and secure, because it's very, very hard for the parents to separate from the children. You know, it is very hard. Some parents are they can handle it very quickly, but most of the parents, their anxiety is too much, and
Mhm.
that creates more problems. So if you can, yeah, I don't know whether you have met those children before they come to the classroom and the parents separately, so you can talk about the attachment, what you do here, so they will be more secure. They feel like they're living to a person who will take care of their child for the whole day, and they will feel secure. Once they feel secure, the child will be happy.
Right.
I don't know whether you have that procedure in your school, that you can meet the parents beforehand with the
No,
children.
I know. Unfortunately, I think that's an administrative choice, and
No, but you have to
I
share those things with the administration, that if you can meet the parents, at least when you are in the classroom, in the regular classroom, and this child is taking the admission in your classroom, you can meet in a certain time. You can make an appointment. They can come and sit with you, with the child, leaving the child in the classroom, and you can show them. And the child can be in the environment, only the child and you and the mother, for sometimes, like for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So the place will be known to the children. I used to have that in my school. I always have that.
think several of the children in my class were in the classroom last year, but the lead teacher or the teacher that was lead last year is still in the classroom this
Okay,
year.
so that means
So
returning
that's good.
children will be fine. We're only
Mhm.
talking about the new children, those who are
Right.
newly admitted. If you can meet them, meet their parents, so they feel more secured, that the mother will know you or the father will know you. They know you better. That way you can make that procedure. I don't know, Mercedes, how do you do that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
have
we
any?
do home visits and all. We do lots of transition. We do, and we also just take one kid in at a time. But I think I'm trying to think. We have the 12 children in the toddler classroom, and like one classroom, I have 4 children leaving the classroom and 4 children coming in, and they're all coming in staggered over the course of the month. But 2 of the kids are like, they're almost like twins. They're cousins. That's just like most adorable hippie family. They live out on like whatever 20 acres in the country, and like the two sisters are twins, and they're of course just like 6 foot tall, to just like perfectly. They're and like they stepped out of Pinterest, and like all they're really cool, and so each one of them has 2 kids and they're about the same age. They have a girl and a boy, and so we're just going to bring the boys in like they're twins basically. So but you know, I'm sure I've said it before, but Magda Gerber said the most important relationship that you have in the classroom is the one with the parents, because without them on board, we just we can't they have to trust us. So
Yes.
as much as we can, you know, I mean, like, I'm really good at, even if a child has been literally crying all morning, I will find the one moment that they're like, you know, their nose might be red and they look like they have been crying, but they're not at that moment. And I'll take that picture and then I'll text it, or I'll, you know, so like if I sense that I have a parent who's just, you know, who's gonna be anxious, that like I try to really over communicate with them the first couple
Yes.
weeks, and like literally like emails every other day, you know, like really go out of my way to text them, like from my personal cell phone, like, you know, images of their kid, and like, so I think that you know, the attachment and whatnot, it's great for us to know about it, especially because like Tracy has this really great presentation, and she talks a lot. We actually gave the presentation together last year in Florida, and there's a lot of really great info, because she has like an infant mental health degree, so she knows a lot about attachment and attachment disorder. I've learned a lot from her, and she one of the things that she said, or that it's part of this presentation, is that like children sometimes will not be outwardly showing any signs of distress, but if you measure their cortisol levels really elevated. So even though they don't appear to be upset, they're actually maybe even more upset than the kid who's just like screaming their head off, because at least that kid is like, you know, language, it's like communication, that's all they have is crying, and so, or, you know, limited repertoire. But if you have a child and they can't even emote, then that flight or fight, I mean, that's kind of what anxiety is, right? That your body releases a flight or fight response, and you don't do either. You don't run and you don't fight. And so you have all this chemical now running through your body that hasn't been resolved, and that I think that's where anxiety comes from. So so finding help, I mean, at least crying is, you know,
Releasing at least.
yeah. And that's why we never tell children, you know, like, oh, let's put your tears away, or I don't ever like try to distract them really from being sad, because we want them to be able to work through it and process it and let it go. So
Right.
that affirmation, like, yeah, I know you miss your mom. It's hard to leave her. And like the same with the parents too, you know, like they're like cellularly connected to their children in many cases, you know, like,
Right.
so just having like that child was part of the mom's body at one point. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're all moms. Are we all?
Yeah.
We're all moms here. That's so. I gotta say, I mean, like, I think that people can be very strong teachers, if they are not parents. But being, I was a teacher before I was a parent, and when I became a parent, I was like, whoa, I'm gonna have to check myself in a lot of ways. I cannot continue to operate in the same way that I have. Like, I just really, I felt and continue to feel pretty terrible about some of the things that I've thought or said to parents about the way that they should parent their kids. Like, and also I feel so much more empathetic with children. Like, I, you know, like I feel like when you're a mom, that like crying, you know, I don't know. I was empathetic, but it changed when I became a mom. Did anybody else feel that way? Right? Doesn't it just like,
It was almost embarrassing for me, like because I also taught before I was a parent, and like I was just so clueless. And I was like, I understand. This must be so hard for you. And like, I look back at pre-parent Casey and I'm like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, it just seems so fake, like just going through the motions and saying it. And now as a parent, I'm like, let me cry with you. It is hard. I get it.
I had a parent who gently took me aside and helped me see that I was assigning way too much homework. To me, it was just, well, this is what needs to be done, and so they can just do it at home. And she was like, you don't realize how much time my daughter is taking with this, and we want her to relax and have fun and interact with us, and she just can't because she's so stressed. And I was like, I didn't even know. It didn't even occur to me. Just this was what I had been told, and so that's what I was doing. And but I look back on her, and I don't remember her name, but I just am so thankful that she spoke truth to me, but in a gentle way that I could hear.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Great.
I think being a parent has kind of helped me make connections with parents, because when they say, "Oh, you have a 2-year-old too," "Oh, he does the same things that my kid does," and I'm like, "Yeah, he screams his head off, or he does this and that. It's hard." And it's as soon as I tell them, "Oh, Drake's doing that, and this is what I did," they're like, "Okay, I'm trying that." So it makes them, I guess, more comfortable and with learning from me. So I'm not just someone that's just saying these things. I've tried them and I've seen the same things, and I've become more compassionate with the parents also. And I let them know, I know it's hard, but you can do it, and I know it's just you, it's not them. And they'll say, yeah, it's me.
And
But,
it also helps to build a rapport with the parent.
Right.
Very
To have a
comfortable.
relationship with them. And you guys were
Yes.
talking about the home visits, and that's one thing that I wanted to start this year. And we had a new lead teacher come in, and we didn't really get to start that, but I'm hoping at some point this year we will start with the new children.
And you will see the change once you do the home visit. You will see the change in the classroom.
Yeah.
I think they're just nervous about the change and about the parents feeling like they're being judged or something like that. But I think I'm going to keep talking to my head of school about it and tell her it will just be a quick visit, and I'm going to let the parents know we're not judging you. We want to
No,
go
just to chat. You will just go there to chat with the child and the parent.
Right. And hearing you guys talking about all the transition processes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish we did something like that, because as you know, I have 16 children right now, and we have children coming in all throughout the year. Sometimes the multiple children start at the same time, and when they start, and they don't leave until it's time to get picked up. So at the very beginning, Monday, I had 3 new children, and all of my other children starting.
No.
And one of them is 16 months old, and it was so hard for her. So I suggested that her mom come pick her up early before lunch, and because she was just adopted like last month, first of all.
Oh,
Yes. So she's afraid her mom's going to leave and never come back. So I told her to come pick her up early. She did. Well, then today she's like, well, I'm going to come a little bit later. I was like, okay. I can't really tell you because they told you this is what we do. We don't do a, slow transition process. So I have had pushback from administration saying this is what we do. They have to just get used to it. And I said something about the mom sitting in, because whenever she would not walk. The mom carried her everywhere. So I was like, I really think the mom needs to stay in the room while she's here. And they were like, oh, the mom's going to throw the whole room off. The mom's going to make it worse. Yes, that's what they told me. And I was like, this is what they say in my training. This is what makes it easier. The mom will trust us. The child will trust us. So then they settled for her leaving after a couple hours. But next week, she stays all the way until 2:30. And the other two children have done very well, thankfully. But it is hard.
It always, I mean, I had a couple kids, because I would do that too. Like, I just was like, that's where I came from. Like, you know, I worked at a daycare. Well, and even the Montessori school, like, kids would just appear, you know, like, and then they were there all the time. And most of them did really great. And some of them did not. It was really hard for everybody. And just like, and I don't know. Anyway, so
actually, you know, you have to engage the mothers. If you have mother in the classroom, you have to engage that mother with something, so that she cannot focus only on her own child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So as long as if you can involve the mother in the classroom environment, the mothers will be the best help assistants for you. You know. I'm using my mothers for everything, and they get, you know, the training from you. They watch you every minute, and they see what you are doing, how you are talking to the child, everything, and that's what she's going to carry it to her home, and she'll do that with her child, and the child will not be confused, because the child is going to get the same treatment as in the classroom and in the home. So that makes the child transit very smoothly. The transition will be very smooth, and if you can do that, keeping, I always kept, you know, when I had my program in Manhattan, I had the, you know, the one-sided windows, and I had the parents' room there, so they can sit and watch their child, and when the teacher needs the mother, she'll call the mother and she'll come inside the classroom and start helping. And that's how we got so many volunteers. I was talking to Casey the other night that I used the, you know, sub for my parents. When we need a sub, I used my parents, because they're the best sub. They know exactly what is going on in the classroom and how we are talking to the children, what is our gesture, how we walk in the classroom, everything. So that's very helpful.
And I think that's one reason that I'm trying to talk a lot to this new mother with a 16-month-old about the expectations in the classroom, because first of all, she's not mature enough, and my administration should not have put her in my room, but it's too late for that. So I just talked to the mom and I said, well, if she doesn't want to walk, we will let her stay inside, and everybody else is going to go outside, and we'll keep offering for her to come outside, and then finally she walks outside. And then when everyone goes into lunch and she doesn't want to go into lunch, we just keep offering, do you want to walk in for lunch? Do you want to walk in for lunch? And then finally she will walk in for lunch. And I was like, and please ask her to walk to the classroom and just talk to her about it, and she'll walk to the classroom. And so Monday she carried her all the way to the classroom. And then when I talked to her again about it Tuesday, which was today, she carried her halfway to the classroom. Or no, she walked halfway to the classroom, and then the child cried out, and then she picked her up and then brought her to the door. Instead of just letting her sit there for a minute. So hopefully we grow a little bit every day, and she
slowly, yes.
And because I know it's hard for the mother also. She's only had the little girl for a month, and she's given her so much love and attention, and I know it's hard for both of them.
Yes.
Well, I have to say that I have a different perspective on Carrie, and that is that I tend to honor it. If children want me to pick them up and carry them, especially when they're new, I pretty much do it. Like, and then sometimes I have to put them down, and I just tell them, you know, and then I try, like, it's not like I just carry them around and, you know, and that's that. But like, I feel like there has to be, like, before there's an ability to become independent, like, children have to develop a secure attachment, and that's going to come from honoring whatever they need to develop it. And so I know that I actually I think that I hurt one of the assistants' feelings today, because I was like, well, let's not, you know, die on the cross of independence. Like, we don't have to, I mean, really, you know, like, it's just not that important. You know, they're like, well, I know that they know how to put their pants on, and you know, and they should just, and I'm like, well, so they can do it. So help them, you know, they're like, for whatever reason, like these children, they're twins, they decided that like, they want to just like throw down the power struggle in the bathroom and refuse to put their pants on, you know, and just drag it. They'll be the first ones in the bathroom. And it's just as long. And I'm like, you know what you do? You just put their pants on and send them on their way. Because why? I mean, or tell me why. Like,
I had the same issue with my son, and his teacher was diehard independent, and she said, well, he will sit in the bathroom. While we go outside, he will sit in the bathroom. While we go to lunch, he will sit in the bathroom. And I was like, no, just put his pants on and move on. So I totally understand. And that's why I was carrying her around the first day. And then I realized she's trying to get us to carry her.
Sure.
Like I felt like she was doing it on purpose in a way. But I need to pick her up and love on her and show her that we're there. And I think she's already got an attachment with one of my assistants because she cried when she left to go clean up. But I pick them up and I love on them and I let them sit in my lap. I'm just trying to find the balance in between her being in control of the situation and getting carried everywhere.
Well, I think that children typically they're not like trying to manipulate us, you know. They're not trying to, they're like, they have needs, you know, and they find strategies to get their needs met. So I mean, I totally you know, I don't necessarily, like, I don't agree, or I'm not, you know, like, I just wanna, like, we had this child come in and her mom worked for us, and so she started with us. We did the typical transition schedule where I like went and I did a home visit. She did like visits. She had never been away from her mom. She was about, I don't know, maybe like 14 months old. She was walking, and literally she was with us for like 4 hours, and the only hour of silence that we got was the hour that we would just put her down for a nap, because we were like, you have got to go to sleep so that you stop crying. And we pretty much carried her around nonstop, because she would cry if we carried her, but she would scream at the top of her lungs if we would put her down. And so I was like, all right, well, we're just going to carry her. And then after a month, she just stopped. I mean, and it wasn't just like it stopped all of a sudden, but, you know, we like, oh, you know, can I sit down with you? Can I like put you from my lap onto the floor? Can I like bring my leg up around, you know, and now we're sitting together, and, you know, just kind of like inching away. And then, like after whatever, a month, she never wanted us to pick her up. So I know it's just like one example, but I always think about that kid, and feel really pretty bad about a different kid that was basically the same, except he was at home with his grandparents. His mom went back to work like literally like 3 weeks after he was born, and he had his grandparents, and they went back to Russia, and he started at school. So they disappeared. His primary caregivers just disappeared, and he started school. And the lady that I had, who was, because when I started my school, I wasn't trained. I wasn't a trained teacher. So I hired somebody who was trained, and she was like, no, he can walk. We're not picking him up. He needs to learn how to, you know, be independent. He needs to learn how to overcome, you know, this. And he would literally just like walk in circles going like this, screaming. And I wish I could go back and just carry him around, you know, like I feel like it would have been better for him. But I did actually, he's like almost graduated from high school now. He's driving, and his mom has like started basically a new family. So I had his much younger brother in my school last year, and so I don't think that he's permanently damaged, is what I'm saying. But I do think that it would have helped him to adjust faster if I had just picked him up and carried him around. But every kid's different. So
actually, the separation is always worked with the bonding until the child is bonded to something, either with the material or with a friend or with the teacher. The separation will be there. It could be, you know, very acute, or it could be mild, but there will be separation until the child is bonded to something. So we have to really wait for that period slowly and smoothly, without aggravating the child, because if the child really doesn't want to walk and you are forcing, there is a fight going
Okay.
on, and then it will becomes, the process will take much longer period.
I'm so
So
glad I was able to talk to you guys because I'm right in the middle of this because she's, this was her second day. And I was telling her today while she was crying because she didn't want to have her diaper changed, I was like, in a few months from now or next year, we're going to be thinking back at this and you're going to be so happy and you're going to be walking around and working with all of the work and one day you'll be the oldest and you will know everything and you'll be showing the little. It's like I was just trying to talk to her about.
That's awesome. No,
Because I had to tell myself, like, this will not last forever. And since you started so early, you were going to be like awesome in here.
Yeah.
gosh, 16 months is kind of the youngest that I'll put in the toddler community. They're little. They're pretty little.
they're little, yes.
Yeah. So she's little. Yeah, you're right. It's only for right now. She's gonna that's great. And also it's good for you to like visualize the normalized child,
Put it all into perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's really hard actually to think that way. But they get over it, and then you kind of like joke about like how.
Do you remember that?
Like, remember all those nap times that you woke everybody up screaming after a half an hour? Remember those? Those are good times. No, they are not good times. Well, we have 5 minutes. I haven't heard from you. Rashani, what's happening with you? How have your teachers been behaving?
Much better. So much better. So we are lucky because we only have 2 new kids. Everybody else has been in our classroom. So there's easier transition for them. Only one's having a really, really, really hard time. So, oh my gosh, last Friday he came in for half an hour, and yesterday was 45 minutes. Today we got to hour and 15 minutes without him suffering through the whole entire time.
Oh.
So he's slowly adjusting. But the parents really understand that, and then they don't want to keep him longer if he's not happy in the environment too. And he's like one of those kids who screams and cries in one place and that doesn't want to come near. What do we do? So when he cries like that, like he doesn't want anybody near him. But then again, so we go around him, we go near him, we talk to him, but then he's a little bit settled if we are away from him,
Well, I don't know.
Just let him cry it out. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we know we've tried everything, and but it's just that, like, for outsider who's looking in, or I mean, I don't even know if it's fair for the child that the minute we go near the child, just to help the child out or anything, just screams and cries even louder.
Well, in our trainings this week, did we talk about how some children, rather than attaching to people, attach to objects? Like, I wonder if there's an object that he might be more comforted by.
You mean to bring something from home or give something from school?
Maybe we could ask what he likes at home, and if you have something similar at school, you could offer it.
We can give it in here. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's an important too, that he's not calming near people, that he's calming away from people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, that's a great suggestion, Leslie.
So just get him to see something, because we tried like reading a book. But I didn't necessarily give him anything into his hand, like to his hand, like maybe you're right. If I just talk to the parents and ask the parents what does he really like, and then try to see if I can find something like that in our environment.
Yeah, and maybe keep that thing in the same spot in the classroom so he can always find it.
Oh dear, yes.
Yeah, right. In your peace corner or something. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go into. Okay, yeah. Thank you. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll be trying that.
Right.
Because it's sad to see him cry so much.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't want our help is even worse,
Yeah, he might think that it's your fault. I've thought that about the children before, that they're like, oh, this is your fault. You like, I don't like you because you did this to me somehow.
Yeah.
Like, well, so it interrupts that attachment sometimes. But yeah, give it a try and tell us what happens.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. That's like our biggest thing. The teachers have made a conscious effort. We're not there 100% there, but everyone's trying so hard to, and sometimes you make a mistake, like you do something and you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this, and so they themselves realize it. So right now, in that sense, the classroom is going really well.
That's
But
awesome.
it's just that with this child, we all feel like not failures, but we're like, how can we help him? Because there's no way this child is settled. The mom just dropped him in the classroom, and she has to just leave him and just run because it's not even it doesn't happen, you know.
Poor buddy.
Yeah.
I know.
It'll get better. I mean, it might take a little while, but
Yeah.
you know, and maybe he could find a friend too. How old is he?
About, I would say, close to 2, not 2, maybe about 22 months.
Oh, he will get somebody.
Yeah, that's old enough for
Yeah.
a friend. Maybe you can
But
try
talk to the mother if she has any special ideas what he can work with, some materials or something like a security blanket.
Yeah.
That
And
can
Because we
help.
don't do sassis in our school.
Yeah. He may get some comfort
does-
from the routine, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Rashani.
No, I'm so sorry. So mom said that he uses the passy at home, but we don't use the passy. We don't use passes in our environment. So I don't know if should we make the exception for him. I don't know honestly what to do.
I don't let them bring their pacifiers in
I
the
won't.
toddler room. I do let them use it in the infant room. So this is what I've said. I've been okay. We'll bring the pacifier, and if we really feel like he needs it, then then I'll be then he can sit in one place for a certain amount, and he can use the pacifier like in a specific location, and that when he's done with it, he has to give it to you so you can put it away. I think it's really hard. I'm torn, honestly, because I feel like it's something that he knows. It's all he knows.
I know.
If you rip the band,
and also, you know what? If you are not allowing him to have the pacifier in the classroom, as soon as he goes in the car, he gets it.
Yeah.
And
he does.
so he is
really
so
does,
used to it. So even before you try with him, you need to speak to the mother and make her understand why we don't want the pacifier and how we can get rid of it. So she has to work on it with you. Otherwise, it will be hard for you.
That's true.
All right. Well, we're at time. I want to Eugenia, I don't feel like I heard from you though. So I want to hear how things are going with you before I hang up.
Yeah. I was wondering that you were talking about attachment, because there's I completely agree that we have to make a bond with children, especially if they're so little. But sometimes I think there's a really thin line between a healthy bond and an unhealthy one. And I had a really, really hard situation last week because one of my teachers really had a strong bond with the students, so strong that for special reasons I had to let her go, and the families went on with her because the bond was so strong that they they felt comfortable more with her than with the school as well. And so I was just wondering how good is it, or how healthy is it that you send pictures, text messages, and so on to parents when sometimes even if it's not necessary and creates she created a necessity when there was not one. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Well, I think parents have a right to see what their kids are doing at school, and definitely, especially in the beginning, if they're worried about what's happening, you know, having that additional layer of communication is, you know, I think healthy. I don't know. I think that when you have a staff change that disrupts your whole like program, that definitely is a time to reflect, because you want to know what is it that allowed that teacher to basically that her relationship with the parents is stronger than yours somehow, and and that they would continue to trust her even after you as the administrator of the school said, look, this isn't someone that is trustworthy. It's not someone that, I mean, can here I could stop recording.